What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of this Southampton FIFA 16 career mode. Less pressure on us today. We've got the title wrapped up in the last episode, so bit of a break from the drama. What we're going to do today is begin with a squad report. We've gained a lot of new subs throughout this particularly season 2 of this Southampton series, so we're going to have a look at the squad. Gives the new subs a chance to look, see what all the players we have on the books. It'll also give us a chance to see where we need to improve the squad and which players potentially we could be moving on next year. Our aim for season 2, my personal aim, regardless of what the board says, is to challenge for the Champions League, so we need an elite squad. But let's go through it. Fraser Forster, you can see, lost his place a bit to Jordan Pickford, but established himself towards the end as our number 1 again. You can see very good stats. His overall didn't improve. Pickford's overall went up by 4. We've done a lot of training with this guy, and obviously he's only 23 years old. He's good when he plays, but he does make a lot of mistakes, so backup keeper, he will probably stay. Ivan Lopez, his overall went up by 1. Played a handful of games, quite a few actually, in the Premier League, especially in the first part of the season, but lost his place to this man, Cedric. His overall did not improve, but he made quite a few appearances. Probably prefer him to Lopez, if I'm being honest, Cedric. 2 decent right backs. They're not amazing, but they are decent and will do a job in Europe. Cuco Martina, overall went up by 1. I'm probably going to look to move this guy on. You can see his contract is expiring in 2 months anyway. He will not get a new deal. Subotic, now I'm quite disappointed with him. I thought he was going to be a solid rock. He was okay. Okay is probably the only phrase I would use to describe him. Valued at 8 million. His overall went up by 1. He's 28 years old, so he's still in probably the prime peak of his career. I'm just not sure what to do with him, Maybe move him on. Veltman, we only signed at the back end of last season. I only paid 7 million for him. He's 25. His overall went up by 1 to 78. I probably feel he is a better option than Subotic. I'm not really sure why. He just feels that little bit more solid, so we'll probably keep him on the books. Ethan White, signed as a backup, £700,000. Plays for New York City FC. Don't know a lot about him, but he's just there to make up the numbers, to be honest with you. Not going to get anything for selling him on, so we might as well keep him. Jordan Turnbull, good youngster. Is he going to play next year? No. Probably look to move him on. His overall didn't improve, and he had a lot of training. Van Dijk, probably the best centre-half at the club. His overall's gone up +1, as you can see. Valued at 10.5 mil, 25 years old, so a good age, still physically probably at his peak. Definitely will be keeping him around. Potential captain for next season, actually. In terms of left backs, Ryan Bertrand is good enough. People are saying we should probably sign a better one, but Bertrand is good enough. He's still improving. 27, experienced. Obviously played in the Champions League final for Chelsea in real life. He is definitely our number 1 left back. We've got Matty Target as well. Saints youngster, only 21. Overall went up +1. He's now 72 rated. He can also do a job as a backup for a few games. Don't think I'm going to waste our money on another left back. But this man, Captain Fantastic, or was Captain Fantastic, Victor Wanyama, will be leaving us, will be departing the club, which means we definitely need to sign a midfielder, someone box to box that will literally, physical, strong, and will just command that midfield. So need a central midfielder. Jordy Classy played a lot in the first half of the season, not a lot in the second. 25 years old, decent player, not going to move him on. I think he's better than his valuation of 6 million, so we will be keeping him around. Harrison Reed, overall went up by +3. Good youngster, promising youngster, 73 rated. Probably won't get a lot of game time next year though, so potentially a player that will depart the club. Joel Campbell, 12.5 million he's now rated. 25 years old, made a fair few appearances, rotates a lot with the Ox. His overall went up by +1, but I think we'll probably sell him, to be honest. The money that we can raise from selling him would enable us to bring in a better player. You guys have suggested maybe Salah, Eric Lamela, Yoda, a couple of players that are on the shortlist, which I've already made, that could potentially come in and be better than Campbell. Lloyd Isgrove, I'm going to keep, valued at 1.6 million, has a lot of pace, is a Saints youngster, overall is improving all the time, not worth selling. James Ward is a youngster we brought in, didn't cost us anything, contract's expiring in 2 months, he's going to be leaving. Eugenio Vera, same for him, youngster we brought in, overall went up +4, fun to use for a bit. But he's not on. These two are not on the level that Vilna is. They can't come in and do a proper job in a competitive game. So he will also depart the club. You've got then the Ox. Now, he's good. The Ox is very good. Great player. Overall, gone up +2. You can see he's only 23. But his valuation of 16.5 million. And the question of whether he's good enough at the top European level, I'm not really sure. Potentially moving him on. James Ward-Prowse. Big part to play next season, I think, for him. Overall went up +1. He's only 22. Saints through and through. Was captain and lifted the title for us. Definitely going to keep him around. Tolisso, we only recently signed him for 10 mil. Seems to be decent. Nothing, hasn't really put a foot wrong so far. He's only 77 rated though. Hoping that will improve with a bit of training. Dele Alli, disappointing so far. Thought he was going to hit the ground running. Thought he would be really, really good this year, and he hasn't been. Was decent in the first season, but just hasn't quite lived up to expectation. Not sure what I'm going to do with this guy. Conte, recently signed from Leicester, £10 million, absolute bargain, great all-round midfielder. He's just a squad player, really. Obviously, he could potentially be Wanyama's replacement already, and we could just sign in other areas, but we'll see. We'll see what we're going to do there. Emilio Vilna, love playing him, 18 years old, a lot of potential, very skillful. Overall went up by a massive +7. You can see he made a fair few appearances, chipping in with 3 Premier League goals as well. So definitely we'll be keeping him around. Whether he starts or not next year, not really sure. Fabio Barros, another youngster we signed. He's leaving when his contract's up. Tadic, keeps saying he's unhappy, keeps saying he wants to start. When he plays, he's good. Is he good enough at the top European level? Probably not. Will I sell him? Probably. I know that'll upset quite a few Saints fans, but I feel it's time for him to go. Reason being, we've got this guy who's better, offers us a lot more going forward. The thing that lets Tadic down is his pace, which this guy obviously has. His overall hasn't gone up at all this year though, and he's made a lot of appearances, which is slightly worrying, but we will be keeping Yannick Bolasie at the club. Sam McQueen, youngster, he's on loan at Rotherham. Probably will look to sell him and just raise a bit of space in the squad and a little bit of extra cash. They're not going to play this year. We really need to gun for the Champions League. That's what we're going for. Jake Hesketh, same for him. I like him. He's decent, but his contract's up in 2 months. He's going to be leaving. Thorgan Hazard, absolutely gutted about this. Had high hopes for this man. You can see he got injured on his debut, if you remember, and was out for 7 months. He's out for another 3. We're going to be keeping him, but it's just a shame that his injury halted his potential. We didn't even get to see what he was capable of. Gylfi Sigurdsson, selling him, disappointed. Signed him for 10 million from Swansea, didn't do a lot. Scored a couple of good free kicks. You can see he chipped in with 5 assists as well, but he just didn't feel like he was contributing enough. I will probably sell him. Yassine Benzia, promising youngster, overall went up by +2. He's only 73 rated though, and he's only valued at 2.9 million, so it's pointless selling him. He will probably be a backup striker. Chipped him with 6 goals in 17 Premier League games. That's not bad at all, so he'll be sticking around. Bertrand Traore, overall went up by +4. Big growth from this guy. As you remember, Arsenal putting a big offer for him in January, which we rejected, and I'm glad because he scored some important goals, particularly the late winner against Stoke recently. So he'll be sticking around. Whether he's good enough to be our main striker next year, I'm not sure. Davison says he's in excellent form, but he's unhappy. Ooh. He divides opinions for me. His overall's gone up by +2. He's only 26, so there's a lot left in the tank. We paid 12.5 million for him. He was our Premier League's top scorer. I'm probably going to sell him, you know, because I want to bring in a top quality striker. Someone that really bangs the goals in one of the top European leagues. Selling him would enable us to free up some wages and free up some more money to do it. Obviously, we haven't been given the budget for next season yet, so not 100% sure we're going to sell him, but I probably will. Shane Long, Saints hero. He's 30 years old. I love him. Obviously, he's Irish as well. So hopefully he'll bang some goals in for Ireland in the Euros. Valued at 2.8 million. You can see he only made 6 Premier League appearances. Didn't grab a goal. Only scored 1 goal in the FA Cup. So I think it's going to be bye-bye for Shane, unfortunately. But that is the squad. So you can see the players that are potentially leaving us. So we could have a lot of money to spend next year. So I've taken on some of the comments that you've already chucked at me over the previous episode and made a little shortlist, which looks like this. Stephen Nzonzi, potential Wanyama replacement, same as Morgan Schneiderlin. Alex Song is a player that I'm really desperate to bring in. He's only 29, seems like he's been around forever, but his contract's expiring. Obviously, he's been there and done it, played in the Premier League for West Ham, played at Barca, Arsenal, of course. His contract's up. We could pick him up for like literally a couple of mil, and he's a player that I like. His stats are good. He would do a job and fill in for Wanyama. Casemiro, obviously, good young player playing at Real Madrid. Unlikely that we're going to be able to get him, but we'll do everything we can. Eric Lamela, Abdul Karim Yoda. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is a youngster, but his contract's also up at the end of the season. So if we can pick him up for pretty much nothing, I'll bring him in. Otherwise, we'll look to get more finished, polished players, if you like. Yannick Carrasco absolutely tore Real Madrid apart in the Champions League final. Atletico were obviously unlucky not to win that. Potential to bring him in. Obviously, I'm not going to sign all of these players. These are just potential options. Jesse Rodriguez at Real Madrid. You know enough about him. Decent young player. Ava Banega. Good player. Ball player. Could, if we move Sigurdsson on, he could be the ideal replacement. He's definitely creative, will definitely chip in with some goals, and his contract's up, so I'm going to try and get him on the cheap. We've already sent an inquiry. Mohamed Salah was recommended, obviously been at Chelsea, Fiorentina, now at Monaco. Very, very pacey winger, can play in a number of positions as well, so keep your eye on that guy. The guy that was probably suggested the most in terms of a striking option was Luis Muriel. Obviously, he used to be at Udinese, now he's at Sampdoria. He's only 26. Depends on how much they ask for him. Will depend on whether we look to bring him in. But more established players that you will definitely know. Carlos Bacca, 30 years old, but his overall is 83 and he's got good stats still. I reckon he could bang some goals in. Along with this guy, Gonzalo Higuain, obviously very highly valued. One of Europe's top strikers in my opinion. I would love to sign him if we can. And Alvaro Morata, obviously linked with Chelsea in real life, along with a number of other clubs. Talented Spanish youngster, really probably will peak. Somebody the other day, I can't remember who it was, said he'd be better than Luis Suarez. Not quite sure about that, but certainly a player on our radar. A couple of players coming to us then during this off-season period. Harrison Reed wants a pay rise. Not happening. We're going to move him on. So he mentioned it before. We didn't raise his wages, knowing that we'd probably sell him. So he will go. But Matty Target says he wants us to review his wages. Let's have a little look and see what his expectations are. So he's on 6. He wants to go up to 20. Obviously, we have got the budget to do it, but I think that is a bit of a big jump. I'm going to offer him 15 in a 1-year deal. Obviously, chuck that in to sweeten the deal. Don't really care about the clean sheet bonus. Hopefully, he'll accept this because I don't really want to give him a 14. Is it 14 grand? My maths is awful. 14 grand pay rise for no reason. So he's rejected our contract. He wants time to review his options. That's fine. I will offer him a better deal because I don't want him to leave. So, a couple of updates then from the board. They're saying they wanted us to qualify for the Champions League, but we won the league title. So, it's been an amazing season. Of course, they're happy. Everybody around the club is happy. In terms of the Champions League, though, they're not happy with how we did. We know that. Next year, we're going to make it our ambition to win that and hopefully achieve it by signing some quality players. What did they say about our cup performance? Excellent showing for the team in the season's domestic cup. Pass on the congratulations to the players. Of course, we did do well. We got to the final, but we weren't able to win it, which was disappointing. So, Season 3 is officially now upon us, and our objectives and budgets have been set. Let's take a look. So, domestic cup. They want us to reach the semi-final, which is certainly something I feel we can do. In terms of budget, they've given us a massive £42.5 million and a wage budget of 200,000. We can bring in someone a little bit special with that kind of money. And in terms of the league objective, they want to win the title again. Back-to-back titles with Southampton on Legendary. It's going to be tough. I want to get my transfer dealings done early so we can look at the players, the new guys, and help the team gel in pre-season. Putting a bid straight away for Alex Song, £4 million, what we're going with. This guy is our main target when it comes to strikers. I am going to put a bid of 30 million in straight away and see what they say. Hopefully, we can bring him in. In terms of possible departures then, we've transfer listed all the players that we may agree to sell. These are not definitely players that are leaving, but players that I'd be interested in selling at the right price. A lot of them as well. Joel Campbell, Turnbull, Harrison Reed, Gylfi Sigurdsson, Davison the Ox and Tadic, as well as Shane Long. Now obviously we're not going to sell them all because that would put us in a real tricky situation, but if we can raise enough cash, we can sign some world-class players. Time to pick our pre-season tournament then. Going to do exactly what we always do and just pick the one with the most money, which is the European International Cup. Toughest team in that, probably Wolfsburg, I would say. So good chance for us of winning it as well. 7 million is the prize fund. We're diving into that. So as you know, we sent a lot of inquiries for the guys on the shortlist. 23.5 million is what they want for Schneiderlin. Probably too much for my liking. Stephen Ndonzi, 14.5. Now, I don't mind that. It's reasonable. He's only 28. I will offer 10 to begin with. We want to get these players at a bargain price. Eric Lamela, not for sale. Easy. He's booted straight off the shortlist. Now, 20 million for Luis Muriel. Now, that's not that bad considering some of the valuations that the clubs give. However, I'm going to try and... Well, I'm going to be cheeky, actually. Offer 10. They can always send us a counter offer, and we'll go from there. Wow, they did this last year. Set us a really tough European objective. They want us to reach a semi-final of the Champions League. Now, obviously, there's a big improvement on going out in the group stages like we did last year. Didn't even get a win. But obviously, we're going one better. We're going to win it, I'm confident. There you go, confirmation. Tadic says he would like to go. The door is open. We've transfer listed him. Come on, clubs, get buying. Loads of emails then regarding transfers. We've had an offer, first of all, for Harrison Reed from Aston Villa. Going to accept it, 2.1 million. Not going to even bother negotiating. He's a player that we've identified as one that wants to leave. He's not happy. He wants a pay rise. Best for the club if we just let him go. Not happening, is it? Napoli want 50 mil for Higuain. That is just far too much money than I'm willing to pay. Although Real Madrid have only asked for 7 million for Casemiro. Now, that's happening. I'll still try and undercut that. We'll always go back and offer 7, but I'll offer 5 to begin with. That would be a bargain. So, coming back in, Carrasco 30 mil. That's definitely not happening. He can be removed from the shortlist. Hesse 17.5 mil. That's reasonable. We'll see what happens in terms of departures before we put in a bid for him. Ava Banega 19 million. That's too much money for my liking. He can be removed from the shortlist. Mohamed Salah as well, 17.5 mil. Great player, little bit too much at this stage, but we'll keep an eye on these guys. Barca have rejected our bid for Alex Song. I was going to go back in with a higher bid, but we'll see what happens with Casemiro. More offers coming in, this time from Tottenham for Tadic. This one I will negotiate. 7 mil I think I'm going to ask for. Just an extra couple of million in the bank, that'll do. Offer from Sheffield Wednesday for Joel Campbell. Now, he's valued at 14, so I'm not going to take 11.5. We will ask for 15. They give us 15, they can have him. They asked for 20 million, but they've accepted our £10 million offer. Let's negotiate with this guy because... Oh, he wants 80 grand a week though. 80k a week. We'll give him 75. That's still a lot if you ask me, but if we're going to get rid of another striker, obviously we've got that money in the bank. We'll give him important first team player status as well. Hopefully that'll be enough to bring him to the Premier League champ. Even the board are getting involved in this Tadic situation. They're saying we have to sell him. We're trying to. I'm just trying to get the best price possible. So our first friendly is upon us. We're going to be taking on Real Betis. We're changing the formation. I'm not going to go through the side in as much detail as I would for a league game. Also not going to show you that many highlights, just the real key incidents and the goals so we can get through this pre-season as quickly as possible. I will show you that though. That was unreal from Davison. I want to see a bit of that in a competitive... He's on fire. I want to see some of that in competitive games, lads. That's what we paid the money for. Look at this! Davison's unreal. Surely not 4 in a row. Who is this guy? Drugs test. When he misses, we'll start the game. This is a joke. This is an actual joke. This is why the guy was a Premier League top scorer. If he keeps this up, I'm not selling him. He scored almost every single one of these. I'm going for an overhead kick. Spectacular. That's it. We'll start the game. That was too much. Here's Dele Alli into Benzia. Finds Davison. Do what you did in the warm-up, lad. Oh, ref. That's got to be a straight red. 2 minutes in. He's been brought down from behind with an awful challenge. Straight red. 2 minutes in. That really doesn't help us, though. I wanted to have a look at this formation. So, almost half-time. We've got a corner to defend. Pickford was a bit ropey last year, and he seems a bit ropey this year as well. Just as I said it, that's why he's not number 1 anymore. His decision-making is poor. When he does come for crosses, he doesn't get anything on it. So, half-time, quite a few changes made. As you can see, we're still 1 down, playing against 10 men. Oh, Betis have cut us open again here. They're going to put the ball in. There's the header. Pickford does well. Don't think he knew much about it, though. So, in-swinging corner from Ward-Prowse. Flick! Oh, bullet header from Veltman. How has Pedro even seen it, let alone saved it? Classy into Ali. Touched it on one more to Traore. That's a clever turn. Needs it on his left foot. He's got it on his left foot. He's hit one. He's scored. Bertrand Traore off the bench at half-time. 1-1. There goes the full-time whistle. First pre-season friendly is exactly what it felt like as well, other than that disgusting challenge early on. It's finished 1-1. A late equaliser off the bench from Bertrand Traore. Confirmation then that Harrison Reed has joined Villa. Extra 1.6 mil in the transfer budget. Good luck, Harrison. Wish you well for the future. The injury to Tolisso is only a bruised shoulder as well, so he's only going to be out for 9 days. Thank you, thank you. Manager of the season, thank you. Of course we're going to win it. Transfer offer from Everton for Gylfi Sigurdsson. We paid 10 for him. I'm going to try and get 10 back for him. If not, if they offer 6 again, we will accept it. In terms of possible signings, Real Madrid have stated they do want 7 for Casemiro, something I don't mind paying. I feel like that is an absolute bargain. In terms of Steven and Zonzi, they want 14.5 million still. Just going to wait and see what happens with Casemiro for that one. But for now, I think that's enough drama for the first episode of this new season, really. Lots of possible transfers in the pipeline, lots of departures as well, of course. Rest of the pre-season competition to come. Hopefully, this season will be just as good as the last one, with a bit of success in Europe chucked in as well. Massive thank you for all your support throughout this Southampton series so far. Hopefully, it will still continue to be enjoyed. But that will end this episode, guys. Drop a like, subscribe if you are new, and we'll see you next time.